Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Wednesday, August 5th, day 29 by my count in the Big Brother house. And, yesterday I kind of thought there wouldn't be much exciting going on yesterday. Well, I was wrong. Stuff happened. And it happened because the house guests, at least some of them, were apparently as bored of the week as we were. And I'd have to go back to find the exact moment. But the gist of it is, if you were to summarize it, Dee and Devins got bored. Now, okay, there's a problem here, right? Dee and Devins are so far in power, so sure to get to at least jury without an issue, that they don't have much threats. And they are almost like, I make the analogy often of playing with their food. Or of, when someone is such an advantage, they're playing with their food, right? Well, Dee and Devins decided to play with their food. And I don't know if Dee has a soft spot now for Drew or what might have changed, but Dee, and I'll put most of it on Dee, I think Devins is kind of willing to do whatever. He says it all the time, and so that's what I'm going to have to go with, even though he may just be willing to do stuff because he doesn't see why not. They decided that maybe they should keep Drew. Okay? So I think what's happened is Drew has kind of started to show, kept re-emphasizing his loyalty to the Crossroads. I think it started to sink in. I also think that Dee is looking at poor Drew, Barrett, at Barrett, who has no one other than Drew in some ways. And he has a lot of, light threaded alliances, but nothing solid. I'm still not sure his alliance with Drew is solid, as far as Drew's concerned, but let's pretend it is. Anyways, so Dee decided, look, and Devins, let's see if we can do this. Let's talk about this. Let's see if there's a reason to do this. If it's a wash, if it doesn't matter one way or the other, I still think it matters that we should keep Drew. That's how I felt she was saying. She's saying, getting rid of Melody or Lyric, neither of them seem like big threats to us, and Drew seems more solid with us than either of those two. So maybe we should keep Drew. I'm putting words in their mouths, by the way. This is not exactly what's been said, but they talk so much that you could find snippets everywhere where they said different things. So that started yesterday afternoon, and then they pulled in Dee, and then Dee talked to, they were like, well, let's talk to Angela. I think the assignment was Dee was to talk to Angela and Devins was to talk to Camu. I think I'm finally saying Camu's name right, by the way. Carmu. Yeah, whatever. And they did that. And neither of those two pushed back super hard. Now understand, they still pushed back a little bit, but not super hard. And Dee and Devins are very persuasive. They can talk things around, and they like to make people think it's their idea. And that was part of the plan, was let's make the other people think it's their idea, which is, that's Derek, Big Brother 16. And there's probably lots of other house guests, but I specifically remember watching Derek turn Caleb in about 5 minutes. I have that audio clip somewhere. Maybe I should go dig it up from our podcast of Derek talking to Caleb, and within 5 minutes got him to flip and think it was his idea. I'm pretty darn sure that happened we talked about it on one of our shows, but I digress, obviously. So, they kind of worked at this yesterday afternoon, and by the early evening, they seem to have done it. They've gotten most of them kind of on board with the idea of getting rid of whomever is up again. If Drew is, I don't know if it was either or. I mean, in a perfect world for me, Lyric can go. And I know, no offense, Lyric, but go out and hang out with Rome, and Julia, and they'll bring you and Rome back, and you can have your romance, and they'll love to highlight that on the outside of the house, because kind of like they did with Swaggy and Bailey. And you can, we can keep Melody around. And Melody and Drew showmance is just on the cusp. It's on the cusp. I did look it up because I wasn't sure what the age difference was. Not that to me, you know, unless it's like a 10 or 15 year age difference, am I going to be like, oh my gosh? But I was kind of curious on who was the older of the two. And Melody is 24 and Drew is 22, at least at the time they entered the house. So just a couple years difference, but it's interesting that Melody is a couple years older than Drew. But you have to look at the selection that she might have in the house. Who does she have to pick from? And she doesn't necessarily have that big of a selection, as it were. So, and not that Drew's a bad selection. So anyways, their showmance is like just on the edge. It's gonna, if one of them gets out of household, they're gonna get time in the HOH room alone where they don't have to worry about someone walking in and catching them. They will, you know, kiss. That's the big thing everyone wants to happen. It has not happened as far as we know yet, and we don't think it has. They would have snuck, if they had kissed at least once, they would be sneaking more than one. And we have seen many instances of them alone on camera where they've gotten close, but they haven't done it. But you can see it in Melody's eyes that she kind of wants to kiss the guy, right? And I'm sure that Drew wants to kiss her too, but I'm just saying, she's much more, in my book, easier to read than Drew, as far as the looks that she's giving Drew. And she came in last night and she gave him a hug, a side hug while he was in bed, and everyone's freaking out over that. And we couldn't really hear what she whispered, at least I couldn't. But everyone's like, oh my God, it's gonna happen. Well, not if one of them walks out. So anyways, that's going on. I just think, and there was also talk earlier on yesterday, there was talk about maybe production influencing, or Devin's talking to production, because I think he mentioned production or something, or mentioned the diary room, and it's like, oh my God, they're talking him into doing this flip, and it's like, no, you know, and you guys that have been around long enough, you know, production they're not going to say you should do this, but they may ask questions that make Devins and Dee think, whoa, maybe we should keep Drew. Maybe there's advantages to it. And these guys, having done reality TV before, they may be able to read the room and just say, oh, they want us to keep him. Now, at some point yesterday, Dee even said it. She said, I'll be a puppy dog the entire season, meaning, you know, just kind of, you know, la, 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 I'm just happy going through life. I'm silly, I'm dumb, I don't know anything. And she said, I'll do the puppy dog all the way up to the final two. That's what she said in the camera last night, and I did post that video where she said that. It's not singled out. I didn't clip it out specifically, but in her cam talk last night, which I think is the last clips I posted, where she was talking to the cameras, she specifically said, I will be a puppy dog all season for $750,000. Up to the final two. So Dee knows what's going on. And so Dee's not going to do something that Dee doesn't think, that Dee thinks could potentially ruin her game. And I don't think keeping Drew could ruin her game. And they feel pretty secure. So that's going on. The flip is, in theory, on. The flip and the flopping. I call Tuesday Flip-Flop Tuesday. I was pretty sure we used to call it that. I don't see a lot of people saying it, but I certainly say it. And then, of course, today is Waffle Wednesday. And there will probably be more waffling. They will probably decide again, well, maybe we shouldn't. And they could flip completely back and decide not to do it. You know, one of the things that the producers want is they want both sides of the argument. They want to imply that it could go either way. They need the clips to make America watching the TV show think it could go either way. And, you know, then it goes the way that we all knew it was going to go anyways. So I'm not sure right now. We'll figure it out today. That's the big update for today. And I'm not going to talk about it, you know, in 10 minutes here you get out of me. That's all we're going to do. I did a big, long house guest rundown yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, yesterday. So go back to yesterday if you haven't heard yesterday's, if you want to hear my thoughts. Except for just remember, when I said all of that, I didn't know that Drew was going to be potentially safe. And by the way, one last thing. Late last night after I went to bed, Dee told Barrett that something good is happening, but Devins is the one who wants to officially tell Barrett. So Dee couldn't say anything, but she kind of like threw it in Barrett's face, because you can't say Devins wants to tell you something really good and expect Barrett to go to sleep. So he kept asking around, and she kind of said the target has changed, and he's just like, his jaw did. I think his jaw did kind of drop a little bit. So I did repost that. That was a clip was got by Toombs, and I reposted it this morning. So if you want to see that, go on to Blue Sky and check it out. All right, that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to sign off today. Who knows what tomorrow holds? But tomorrow is an eviction day. So tomorrow morning, I will let you know where the target seems to finally have settled on the 3 different options. Right now, it's open. I can't say for sure that any of these house guests is going. I don't know if it's whatever combination you want to put up there. I cannot say for certainty right now which one of them is going, which is fine. In some ways, it's fine some ways this time because it's kind of like, oh no, who's going to go? I'm like not happy that it could be, but when it's definitely determined who's going to go, it's kind of like, oh yuck, that's not good. But since the person I don't want to go has a shot, I'm okay with it being up in the air. But when it's definitely going to be, player X, it's like, okay, well, don't mess with it. Let us just get through the week in this blockbuster. But the blockbuster, if Drew wins it, he's safe, obviously. But now he may be safe anyways. We'll let you know more tomorrow. I need to go. Bringing my pooch to the vet for vaccines. So you guys take care, and we will talk to you all very soon. Be well, everybody. Bye-bye.